If you like the video, please consider supporting James Corp on Patreon. Welcome to our review of Alien The Roleplaying Game. Right, so don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to us on the podcast, I don't know if you can like or subscribe or whatever you can do, but that'd be good if you could do something positive. Share it with your mates. There we go. That's good. And if you're watching this on Twitch, do consider hitting that subscribe button. So we just played 4 weeks of Destroyer of Worlds. We just had an interview with Andrew about aliens, so that will be something else you can listen to if you're interested. He talks about a lot of stuff, and I think he gives away a few little future spoilers and stuff as well. Just be careful though, there are spoilers in said interview about Destroyer of Worlds and certain other things. But yeah, so how do we do this? Well, let's get Sue. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself?
My name's Sue, also known as Savage Spiel on various internet places. I've been role playing since at some point in the 2000s. I forget exactly when. I've played the previous cinematic scenarios for the Alien game, so that will be Hope's Last Day and Chariot of the Gods. But this has been the first look I've had at Destroyer of Worlds. And I do also write my own scenarios, so I've run a couple of those.
You even ran a campaign of Alien, didn't you?
Not yet.
I thought you did. Nathan?
Yeah, Nathan Clark, Godless Polecat, anywhere you care to find me online. I've been playing and running games since like the late 80s, since I stumbled across my uncle's red box underneath his bed, and he gave it to me and said, "Hey, listen, you can have this. I don't play it anymore." I'm like, "Good, cool," because it looks awesome to me. It came with the dice that you had to color in with a wax crayon, because those are the dice that came with the set, because you couldn't buy dice at the time the box set came out. They had to give them to you. But yeah, that's my my short history.
Cool. So yeah, so we're gonna. So the reviews in this on Test Chamber are going to be very standardised because it's a test, so it's got to be a standard. So for every game that we do, it will be the similar series of questions, not too many. In general, there should be more people involved, but unfortunately, the two of the players backed out at the last minute, which is unfortunate, because I would have liked to have heard their opinions on like Alien itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, in other games, when Sue does her Luminal game next week, I think, isn't it? We're doing Luminal. And we'll start with character creation, but at the 8th week, we'll do a review, much like this. And we will also be having an interview with Paul Mitchner as well about Luminal at some point. And Sue, I might ask, I know we know him already, but I might ask you along as support as well, if that's cool, because you're a GM. And you probably have more knowledge in that in the game itself, but that won't be on a Sunday. That will have to be done on another day, because unfortunately Paul isn't free on Sundays. So the first question that I have, and this is to all of us, is what one thing did you like about the system and why? I'll start with Nathan.
I like the stress die mechanic, because so there's a couple things that create tension in a role-playing game, because like a lot of people have complained about, like, for instance, fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons, that there's not a lot of things that could kill a character once it passes 5th level. Like they have enough resources that characters and players can pretty much think and fight their way through just about anything that gets thrown at them, if it's within reason. The thing that creates tension, I think, in role-playing games is like a key encounter, like a tough encounter, plus a timer. like we have to do this before this happens, or we have to do this before this runs out, or before before the lava catches up to us or whatever. There's like a doomsday timer, and the stress mechanic is a doomsday timer. It is a timer until you keep, literally pun intended, you keep rolling the dice until that face hugger comes up, and then you run the risk. You have to roll one more save, but you run the risk of losing control of your character. And in a situation where you're battling against a monster or circumstance that is beyond your control or beyond your ability to handle, losing control of your character at that time is like the worst possible thing that could happen. So I like how certain actions add stress. I like how they wove the stress die mechanic into actions, into like, if you drink a cup of coffee, you get stress. If you fire on fully automatic, you get a stress point. And it's like, if you choose to do these actions and do these things a certain way, you're adding stress, which increases your chances of succeeding, but also increases your chances of panicking and inducing panic around everybody else, and the whole thing falling apart. And I think it gives the game the tension that it needs. I don't think the game wouldn't be as full of tension if it didn't have that mechanic in it. I don't think it would. I think it would just play like Call of Cthulhu has the sanity mechanic, which creates a lot of tension as well. And I think that this game with the stress die mechanic, I think it's key to maintaining that feel, the Aliens feel. Yeah.
Just slightly little off topic, but on topic. What are the actual results of a panic? Like, what are the outcomes of a panic?
So there's actually not a lot. So result 1 through 6, keep it together. Number 7 is a nervous twitch, which the stress level of you and friendly PCs close to you goes up by +1. So like somebody flipping out can make other people flip out as well. Can make other people add stress. The next highest would be 8, which is a tremble. It's a -2 for drills with -2 with skill rolls involving agility. I think Iona, David had Iona, and he had that problem. Number 9 is you drop an item. You drop a weapon or other important item that the GM decides. Stress level +1. So you not only you add a level, but guess what? I'm going to have you drop. I'm going to have you drop your pulse rifle. That's what you're going to drop. Freeze. You lose your next slow action. That's devastating. When you guys got charged by like 4 aliens at the end, they just sprung out of the walls and came at you guys. Having the freeze thing is like, that would be devastating in that situation. Seek cover is if you roll an 11 or higher, or if you roll an 11, seek cover. Next action must move away from danger. Stress level -1, so your stress level goes down. But anybody that sees you do it, close PCs have a stress level goes up 1. You scream, which is basically like freeze, use your next slow action. And everybody that can hear you scream makes an immediate panic roll. So this can start, the whole group can start cascading out of control. Number 13 is flee. You must flee to a safe place for 1 round. In the one shot that I ran, someone rolled that, and they basically took off to another part of the underwater station. And like the other characters, once they had finished dealing with the threat, they had to go find her. And I was like, you can just leave her. And like, no, we're gonna go track her down and find her. Berserk is number 14. You must immediately attack nearest person or creature until broken. That could be a friendly PC, because it says nearest person or creature. And then 15 or plus, you just go catatonic. You collapse to the floor and can't talk or move, staring blankly into oblivion. And there's the only thing that can get you out of that is like a command roll. Somebody has to make a successful command roll to wake you up or get you under control. Otherwise, you have to wait like a turn, and then it subsides. But if you go catatonic in front of alien, you're just gonna get drug off and face hugged. So yeah,
not a time to do that then.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, definitely. You guys hitting the Napro leave in the reactor room, like you guys juicing up with Napro leave to wipe out all stress before you tried to go to the actual ascension car, the elevator, and try to get in there was I think that is what more. I mean, getting online and shooting as a tactic was very successful, but I think more than anything, that's what saved you guys, was because you guys had accumulated like some of you had like 6 stress points,
Yep.
maybe
I think it
more.
was on 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Iona had like 7. So it was like, this is, if you'd have gone, and it was, if you would have reduced by 2, but the second you go into that final encounter with 6 or whatever stress, then it's all gonna come, it's all gonna come crashing down. But hitting those drugs when you guys did was the key move.
What about you, Sue? What one thing did you like about the system and why?
Well, I think since we've already covered the stress mechanics, I think the critical table is probably my next favourite thing. Is the fact that running out of hit points doesn't kill you, but you don't know what you're going to roll on that critical table. It adds a bit of extra tension. Plus, there's some really fun results in there, like we had with my character losing her teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, how do you get knocked out teeth from splashed with acid critical? I don't know.
Just melt the teeth away. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like the games I've run. I've had the party come back where they've all been alive, but they've left half their legs behind.
As for me, I actually really like the way the aliens worked. To tell you the honest truth, I really like the way that you can just roll on roll on a table to see what they do, because they're not like, I guess because they're not like free thinking creatures. Well, I guess they are, but because they're more animalistic, right? Or alien, I guess, or whatever. You don't have to go like, oh shit, what do I want to do? You know, it takes a lot of the pressure of the GM, like trying to like make the creature act like a creature rather than like something with, I'm not intelligence behind it, but do you know what I mean? Like it makes it feel more.
The aliens are so brutal and so lethal that having a GM set up an encounter where you know what I mean, what are 4 of them going to do? It'd be nuts. And instead, I think I agree with you. I like how you have roll a 1d6 to see what they do, because it's fun for me. You know what I mean? As a GM, like to like, I don't have to like sick these aliens on you and figure out what they're gonna do. No, I get to see what the dice are gonna decide just as much as you. Like, I get to see, you know, oh, he's gonna rip himself apart and try to spray you with acid. That's great. But you know what I mean? Like, I get. Plus, if I kill one of you, I go, all the rolls are in the dice window. You know what I mean? Yeah, so.
Hey, you know it's not the GM being malicious when the thing comes and rips your head off. It was just the dice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Like, I didn't headbite you. You rolled the 6. That's why I made you guys roll the d6 and not me. I was like, you guys roll the d6 and see what happens, because
Yeah, I guess. It just made it feel. I don't know. Yeah, like if we go to D&D, if you're playing a wolf cat, well, not a wolf character, but say we're getting attacked by a bunch of wolves. It's your, as the dungeon master in D&D, it's down to you to decide on how they behave, right? Rather than like allowing the dice to choose what they do, whether they go for your jugular or just circle you or whatever, whatever they could be doing, or intimidate you, or I've never encountered a real wolf, so I don't know, but some people are intimidated by dogs, right? So do you know what I mean? Yeah, I just found it refreshing. I think they have it in Forbidden Lands as well. I think a lot of the creatures in that have like a chart that you can roll on, rather than choosing what they do. I don't know if they're as deadly as an alien is, but I know like perhaps some of the larger creatures like giants and stuff can just like splat you with one hit. because they're so much larger than you and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It just felt alien. I felt like I was playing in an alien game, and it really just added to the whole like weave of the game itself. I think this is going to be very short. I don't know if this is going to be particularly long. What one thing did you not like about the system and why? That's if you've got any issues with the system.
It's not an issue per se, but I mean it is, but it isn't. The initiative cards. Like I don't really. I mean, it's okay. It works. I mean, it's great to pull different cards because it's like 10 cards for like 10 cards to 10 numbers total for initiative, and that doesn't work when I've got 4 aliens who each take 2 actions, who need to draw 2 cards apiece.
Yeah.
So that's like 8 cards. Plus, I got 4 players that are going to draw 4 cards. I've already exceeded. So, it's. I like that they include like a dice system for the game, like an alternate initiative system, which is a complement to the game, not a problem. But I would say that yeah, the initiative cards, I don't really like it. I mean, just rolling dice to determine initiative is fine.
Okay. Cool.
I do like the fact that the cards mean that you don't have to decide which of two people have got the same number goes first. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, you do only have the 10 cards. And I think that's actually better in Coriolis, which is a largely similar system because you've got a much bigger deck of cards.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's 36 cards rather than 10, so it's a lot easier to work out an order from then.
Yep.
36.
Yeah, it's a D66 table.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I love that, by the way. I love like not having to get a D10. It's just 66.
Yeah.
It's like a D66. I like that. It's cool.
What about you, Sue? What one thing didn't you like about this? What one thing don't you like about the system, and why?
The only thing I'm not so keen on is I can never remember exactly what armor does. Now, I know you roll the number of dice and the number of successes you get takes it off whatever the enemy got. But I can never remember if that comes off damage or the number of successes they rolled.
Yeah, it comes off damage. Yeah, it was yeah.
It's a very minor thing overall. It's just one thing I can't quite get into my head.
It didn't help either. I mean, I think anybody rolled. I think a couple of you rolled armor and you got like 3 successes or 2 successes. But for the most part, my rolls for the aliens were pretty abysmal. Like 12. Yeah. I'm rolling like 12 dice acid attack, and I get like 1 success or 2 successes. It's like okay. It's like that's gonna do 3 damage. You're gonna get 1 success on your armor roll. That's gonna be 2 damage. That's not really, not really anything. I mean, that'll count later when you lose another 2 health and another 1 and you're down. But as far as this fight goes, that you know what I mean. Whatever. it wasn't nothing to worry about. But most of you were rolling half armor anyway, because it was armor piercing attacks, and all the aliens, any of the aliens rolled half armor as well, because you guys were using armor piercing. Your weapons are armor piercing, so they were all rolling half armor anyway. So
yeah. For me, I mean, I do like the system. I do like how simple it is, etc. It is. This is my 3rd or 4th game of the Year Zero engine. The only thing I don't like, and it is a really minor like niggling issue that I have with the system, is that you need a 6 to succeed on a dice pool.
Yeah.
And you either roll really well or you roll fuck all, right? Generally, or you don't, or you've got, or you're rolling a shitload of dice and you only get 1 or 2 successes if you're lucky. Sometimes you might get more, but in general, you don't generally roll that many, that well in successes. It is a lot, it is very because got a 1 in 6 chance of getting a success on each dice. It doesn't happen so often. But I mean that's literally, I can see it being a bit frustrating that you got this character who's highly trained in shooting a smart gun, but he only gets a success to hit after rolling 12 dice or something. But that's literally, that is it. That's the only problem I have.
Yeah, I think that actually works better in Alien than it does in the other Year Zero games, because this is a horror game and things are just going to go horribly bad for you sometimes.
Yeah, but you succeed with one save. All you need is one.
Yeah, but you can do extra shit with more successes, right?
Yeah, I mean everybody wants to be the hero. Everybody wants to.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody wants to do more damage or. As a GM, I like dice pool based systems because I can do something pretty sneaky with them.
Oh, can you? What sneaky thing can you do?
So here's a cool tip. So with a dice pool system with like hits and successes and stuff like that, you can create threats and you can create whole combats just based on a handful, like a pool of dice. So let's say let's just use Alien because we're talking about Alien. I want to do like you're being chased by like a bunch of aliens. I don't have to stat all those aliens out. I can just say I've got 30 dice. Let's say you're running through the station, assholes and elbows, trying to get to the last spaceship. I've got 30 dice. I said, all right, you're being chased by aliens. So each round, I want you to make a mobility check, and I want you to make do anything that you want to do to try to slow the aliens down as you're running. So what you do is you make rolls, and any success that you get, I take dice away from my 30 dice pool. When it's my turn, I can divide those 30 dice. I could divide those up into a handful of dice pools. I can roll them against each character to say attacks as the aliens try to catch up with you, or their mobility checks to try to catch up with you. And then when you guys tick all the 30 dice, when you finally tick that down to 0, there's you get away. Or when you fight a fire that's like a 40 dice fire or whatever, you know what I mean? It can be fire, it can be a disaster, it could be an army, it can be anything, but it's just a dice pool I have. And you guys think I'm running this, not you guys, but a player can think that I've got this whole there's 30 aliens statted out and they're coming after you, and I've got this whole thing planned. Which just I'm just counting a pool of dice. And I don't have to, you can do that with Shadowrun. Any dice pool based system, you can do stuff like that with. So instead of getting down to the nitty gritty, you can just,
cool.
It's cool. Makes it easy.
Right, final question. I might see if any of you have got any other questions, but the final question I've got written is: did you find the mechanics support the story or get in the way?
The mechanics absolutely support the story.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's the stress mechanic that does that, because it just adds the whole tension that you need in a space horror game.
Mm-hmm. I like the attribute plus skill form your dice pool, and then you roll them. I like that a lot, because if you don't have the attribute, if your attribute's low, whatever, you can, your skill can be enough to carry you. Or if you don't even have the skill, maybe your attribute just carries you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. It takes care of or if you're unskilled or whatever, you get a penalty or you don't have to worry about that. You just roll your attribute. I thought it was elegant. How it has like base dice plus stress dice, and
I definitely felt that like the game definitely had the feel of Alien, and like the story as well. I definitely, even though Ian, fuck me, can I get anyone else's name wrong tonight? Who's Ian?
I have no clue. Ian Fleming.
Maybe. No, what Andrew was saying, like, I've now lost my train of thought.
You officially derailed.
I've derailed myself.
we were talking about how the game mechanics support the theme, and the game feels like Alien. You were saying that it feels
Yeah,
like Alien.
that was it. Yeah, even though Andrew was like, he wasn't trying to make it feel, be aliens. Like we're on a remote colony. Out, even though we were in a colony, but it was I think it was a much larger colony, right, than the one in Alien.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I definitely had there's definitely it ticked the boxes of I feel like I'm in an Aliens movie. Do you know what I mean? With just everything going on. There was definitely a feel of I know this isn't the mechanics, but there was definitely a feel of grittiness involved as well, and the body horror as well was there's the whole I don't really understand that though, the alien that the alien that was inside that woman's body that that we saw on the in that safe house.
Hmm.
uh
The body burster.
yeah, I didn't really understand that one. What
That
was
was
going on?
so the 26 Draconis. What that does is it's a different strain. And if you know anything from like Prometheus or
I
whatever, it's
don't
like
know.
if you watch Prometheus.
No.
Okay, yeah. So David, the android in that movie, he's messing with the black goo and this stuff to create. You realize in the second movie, Covenant, he has been experimenting with it and trying to change it and tweak it to try to create a life form with it. And the 26 Draconis strain is just like it's like one of his attempts at that. And it's different than the strain of like parasite that creates a xenomorph. So when the whole point of the 26 Draconis in this scenario was like they shot the AWOL Marines up with it that got face hugged with it to try to save them. But it's only like a 33% chance that it works. The other two, you either chest burst or because it does nothing, or or it kills the embryo and then it itself is inert, and then you can get it cut out of you or whatever, like what happened to Wright, Corporal Wright. Or it does something where it eats the chest thing or whatever, and then it mutates, and then it basically turns you from the inside out into an alien. So you know how, I mean, you haven't seen Prometheus, but like the guy gets it and he turns into this anathema, this thing with his like forehead is distended, and he's like, I mean, it's not distended, it's swollen, and he's like a caveman, but the guy's like out of control. He's a complete different thing, but he's mutated. It does that to you, but an alien from the inside out, it forms from the inside. So it's kind of neat that it kind of like splits off the skin and an alien forms from underneath. It's kind of cool. And there's some, and he was talking about Easter eggs and stuff. There is Easter eggs for like for William Gibson's Alien 3. So like in William Gibson's Alien 3, there's two different strains of aliens. There's an earlier strain, or there's like a strain that gets loose from the lab that's on the space station that they're at, and then there's the strain of actual regular xenomorph. And they kind of go at it. If anybody's ever listened to the Audible William Gibson Alien 3, it's really good. But it's that's in there. So it is one of the cooler parts of the story. So I'm glad it's in their stuff.
Right. Well, I'm just going to throw one last question out because I did expect us to be a five man, like 5 people operation. The next one. So, what was your favourite moment of the game?
When Hammer rappelled down out of the whole, how you guys took down the insurgent compound was my favorite part of the game, because it felt like a legit military operation. We have combined arms. You have an air insertion coupled with a ground unit that busts through the gate. That's good stuff. And then when you like Demolition Man fast rope down and then shoot the dude on the roof as you land and say hammer down on the radio. That was marquee marquee 80s action movie moment. Like, that was cool. I was like, oh, this is great. Like, we got Marines fast roping in and shooting insurgents off rooftops. We got one-liners, and then you go into the room and now you have to fight a body burster. It's great stuff.
And I think the bit with the body burster falling through the floor after we killed it, that was also a great moment. And I think one of my I can't just pick one great moment because there were so many, but the bit where we first came face to face with an alien at the Marshall station, that was great.
Yeah, I loved seeing the look on you, James, and you, Sue. Seeing the look on your face, like you knew that the guy had, like, as a player, you knew like he had something chest bursted.
Yeah.
But you're like, how do we? Because I saw when I read that, I see James' face, like, all right, how do I? I know, but I don't know. I thought
because you got because law, right? You don't in-game law versus out-game law. Obviously, in-game I don't know what it is, but out-game I knew exactly what it was. What was my favourite moment? I definitely enjoyed my banter with Iona. Me constantly calling him a fucking pen pusher. I mean, that's blowing my own trumpet, but I was trying to be getting the mentality of a Marine, because I imagine they constantly jibe each other and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Another favourite moment is the fact I really enjoy the fact that Sue was just like this killing machine. Every shot she shot would, like when we're getting attacked by, when we're in the gas facility, when we just blown up the those insurgents in that building with the grenades, and I'd gone off to do some drugs, and then we saw that they were coming in from the east side of the facility, and Sue was just like, like a Marine, like running forward and just popping them and just killing them,
short control bursts.
And then there was me just going just shooting all the, shooting everything. That was great.
And then you almost get killed.
And then I almost got killed, and I had to spend a hero point or whatever to get out of the way.
Story point, Technically, you should have been killed when he shot through the wall. He shot through the wall with basically a laser tank gun. So technically, but I mean, it was cool to make the roll. And hey, listen, it'd have been pretty funny if you're just doing your own thing and you just get vaped, just like you're done. Roll armor for a 5 damage attack.
I had a good time. I did get stressed as well. I was getting, as the game progressed, I was like, oh fuck, we're not getting out of this. And then when you threw those 4 xenomorphs at us in that room near the end, when we had because there was only 4 of us playing, I was like, fuck, we've got 1 each. We're not good. Some of us aren't getting out of this, if any of us.
I didn't think you would either. I thought maybe 1 or 2.
But then 2 of them decided to commit suicide, which probably saved our fucking bacon, to be perfectly perfectly honest with you.
You sell yourself short too, because Iona got taken out basically, but it was capture for the hive taken out. So he ended up finishing off his. I mean, it stabbed him, but then when he passed out, it moved on to someone else because it knew he was going out. That's why it left him and went for someone else. And they smelled not on Sue, but before they smelled the alien on her. But that wasn't me sicking on. That was just that they said there's 4 soldiers in there. Just 4 soldier xenomorphs in that room. I'm like, cool. And it was, like I said before, the dice that's just what happened. They rolled low, you guys rolled well, but you guys were doing stuff that was stacking stuff in your favor, like spending that extra points, the damage of pushing an alien back. You know what I mean? Before, using the stunt to shove the alien, like the bullets, repel the alien backwards. That was helping out a lot.
Well, it's to stop the acid. I think that was for us
Yeah.
trying to stop the acid splash, right? That was the plan.
Yeah.
I really. What else did I enjoy? I was really hoping we'd use the power lifter to like do something, like use that power lifter that we saw, but we didn't use it. But then
Power
again,
loader,
we
yeah.
sort of had to rush through that last bit, which was a bit of, it was a bit of a shame, but it was also we probably would all been dead.
Yeah,
You know.
I probably would have had. I don't know if I would have done with the little workers, the little white alien things that were tending the queen. I don't know what I would have. I don't know if there's a chart for them or anything. I probably would have had them swarm the power loader though. It's like whatever was in the power. You know what I mean? Like they just swarm it and try to get it to stop attacking the queen. So it would have been, yeah. Whoever's in the power loader probably would have died, but everything would have attacked the power loader and ignored everyone else. You know what I mean? Like the two soldiers that were in there would have jumped on the power loader as well. So that would at least given everybody else a chance to like bail out of there.
But yeah, I had a really good time. I enjoyed every moment of it. It was a good game. It was well run. I enjoyed the players' banter. I enjoyed all the players like playing their characters. I like the fact that Silver was constantly chomping on cigarettes every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I enjoyed. I like the whole cards that they give. What were the cards called?
The agendas or the story cards?
Yeah, the agendas. I really enjoyed the agendas. I've read a horror story today on the Facebook group about like one of the players was playing Hammer, and he decided to throw a grenade when they were being attacked by an alien to basically kill the rest of the group and the alien at the same time, and then they all started shooting each other, and then the GM had to just decided to stop the game then and there. So yeah,
because some of the agenda, it says for Hammer, it says like the other Marines don't deserve to survive.
Yeah,
but I mean you don't interpret that as you kill them. It's I think you could interpret that as if they fight and make it, then they deserve. Otherwise, you're not going to help them. Not chuck a grenade at the group.
But yeah, I had a really good time. It was stressful. It was some of the places I didn't want to go into because it was scary. It was atmospheric. It hit all the beats of an alien film that if I wasn't streaming, you would have seen me get up to go to the toilet at the time. It was getting really stressful because I would be getting too stressed. I did that in Alien Resurrection when they were breaking out. I told you this all offline, didn't I? I think.
Yeah.
I went to watch Alien Resurrections at the cinema, and when they were getting out of breaking out of the jails, the prison, or whatever the facility they were trapped in, with what's his face? Something Doff, isn't it? He does the voice of Chucky.
Yeah.
I got up and went to the toilet because I couldn't fucking stay. I was getting stressed of it. I'm not very good at horror films. It's really weird. I'm not very good at horror films. I really can't do horror films. I don't choose to watch them. That's why I haven't watched Alien. That's why I haven't watched any of the prequels like Prometheus or anything. Or Alien. Is Alien
Prometheus is not really. It's not really a horror movie. I mean, it's
no, but it's stressful. It will make me go to the toilet, but because I'm watching it at home, I have to pause it.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, I wouldn't just leave it on.
You can't just get up and then skip the part. You gotta watch it. He was talking. Andrew was talking about like the solid, some of the golden moments and stuff, some of the good stuff that's in those movies. Like some people don't like prequels or whatever, but like I feel the same way. I think there's really cool parts of those films that add to the canon and add to the universe and stuff in the fact that they had all this tech and all this whiz bang stuff, but that's not going to help you. Like how many, how prepared can your Call of Cthulhu character be before you're gonna fight a shambling mound? Like it's just gonna dimensional walk through walls, and you know what I mean. There's you know what I mean, or like you run into a Shoggoth, or you run into a dark one. It doesn't give a shit that you shoot it to try to cut it. You know. So it's cool to see. Like you really should watch them. They're great movies. I mean, there's the Prometheus Prometheus has its problems, but it's still a really good. There's still a lot of really good stuff in that movie. A lot of really
They're
good
probably
moments.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I don't know. Will they be on Disney Plus?
They'd be in the Star thing, wouldn't they? They'd be in the sort of more adult orientated area.
Yeah, they have to. Definitely.
Because they're technically Disney films now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus that isn't just cartoons.
Yeah. A lot of great stuff.
Yeah, something else that stood out about this adventure is it was a very different experience to Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, so in this one, we were all Marines, so we were like tooled up with big weapons and armor and felt like we could actually fight the monsters. In Chariot of the Gods, you don't have anything like as much stuff. I think I was wandering around with a bolt cutter.
Yeah. It was. I had mentioned that to Andrew also when we were talking about like James had mentioned, hey, everyone lived, and and he was surprised because he's like, I've heard of maybe one or two people make it out. He's like, or nobody, but he's like, I've never heard that. Like, he's like, I'm glad that different groups experience different things, and it was it's because you guys are Marines. You have weapons, armor, grenades for Christ's sake. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to tactically think your way out of the situation and fight a monster. And I told him, I was like, it'd be a very different scenario if it was just a bunch of people in jumpsuits with bolt guns, because you got like a one-shot bolt gun or like a cutting torch. That's not gonna cut it. Like, pun intended. It's not gonna. Yeah.
Also, I think the alien threat we were facing in this particular scenario is very different to what you encounter in Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah. I don't even think a pulse rifle. I don't even think a pulse rifle would even help you in that scenario.
Probably not. No.
How are you going to shoot on a spaceship? Like if you as a GM, like if you're firing weapons on a spaceship, especially armor piercing, you know what I mean, like rounds out of a pulse rifle, you're gonna you're gonna pierce the hull. You're gonna put holes in things, and putting holes in things on a spaceship or a space station is a bad idea. So.
Some of the early concerns I heard about Alien as a game is it just going to be the same thing every time? And my experience so far is absolutely not.
I like that. I can't believe that like the games that we play now are considered canon. That's blown my mind. Like, do you know what I mean? That's insane. I've never heard that, a game have, an RPG story being considered canon in the universe, and like, the character that you may play may appear not appear, but just be mentioned in another product somewhere, like, a video game. You might hear, Hammer, Sergeant. No, I wasn't Sergeant. Private Hammer or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or Private Dante, First Class. It's crazy. It's good though. I mean, that makes you go connect to the universe more as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I thought it was well run as well. It was really well. I didn't think it was well run. It was well run. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It was well handled. I don't have any criticisms over it. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, if you're just listening to the review, I mean, it's going to be a shorter video than the actual plays, mainly because well, hopefully when we have a full set of other players, there'll be bigger, bigger, more conversations about what people liked and what people didn't like. But yeah, you can go back and listen if you haven't listened to it. Go check out our actual play. You can hear like the banter and everything about what was going on between the party members, and it was good. It was very enjoyable.
I liked when Chaplin came back online. Everybody's kind of like hovered around him, and like he comes back, he's like eyes open, and then like people are like, "What's going on?" And then Hammer, like James, you like lean in and like, "What's your prime directive? What's your?" You start interrogating him and stuff. I thought it was great.
I was quoting RoboCop.
Yeah, I know. Like, what's your like, what's this psycho marine gonna ask this robot when you go say? It was great. I thought it was cool. There's lots of moments like that through the whole thing.
Especially my American accent that I started in the first session, then promptly dropped from there on. From the second episode on, or probably most of the way, part way through the first episode. But no, it's good. And it's all on YouTube, or it's all on the podcast. Yeah. If you can check that out there, and hear us. It was a good time as well. It was, it goes pretty quickly. I've listened to them because I'm having to double check my work, my editing skills, having to edit, lack of edit skills, and making sure I haven't cut too much out and it doesn't sound completely unnatural, where no one's taking a breath whatsoever in between sentences. I did delete a lot of ums, so this might be edited as well, because ums make me sound like a fucking idiot, and if I cut them out, it makes me sound way more intelligent. I'll cut that out so they don't know. There won't be any. They'll just go. Oh, he's really intelligent. Yep, that's the plan.
Too late now.
Does anyone have any questions or anything that they think they want to add to this little review? It's not a massive. In fact, do you recommend to play? Do you recommend people to go out and buy it, or do you not recommend them to go out and buy it?
I recommend it to buy. Yep. Yeah. The game and the scenario.
I'm not going to do star bollocks, because what's the point? You either like it or you don't. Do you know what I mean? There's no. Yeah. It's either worth getting or not worth getting. I think it's worth getting. If you can get a hold of a copy, I think you should go out and buy the game. If you check below, there's in the description, there's a little link to the Drive Through RPG where you can pick up the PDF, and you can also support the channel by purchasing stuff with that affiliate link. It helps support the channel, and you get shit from it as well. So you get to buy it. Basically, you get to buy a game. I mean, it won't be for free, but it helps. It helps the channel, and you don't pay anything extra. It just it's not much that I get. It's like 1% or something, like a fraction, but it does help, and I can put it towards buying other games from RPGNet or whatever I want to do with it, like buy some books and shit, or send people books and stuff like that. But
I will add, it is the most well written, I think, RPG that I've ever read. It is like 400? No, yeah. What is it, like almost 400 pages? It is much more than a role playing game. Like you can use it as like a source of everything aliens. So like if you wanted a good, you know what I mean, if you're an Alien fan, like if you have to get it. Like I bought it even though I was like, I might not run the game. I'm like, I bought it with the intention of running the game, but I was like, even if I didn't, I was like, I was pleasantly surprised when I started reading it and saw how it read and how it was written. It's great.
It's a really nice looking book as well. It's got that fantastic cover art, and there's great pictures all the way through it.
Yeah. Yep.
Did any of you play the previous edition of Aliens?
No.
No.
I looked at it.
There's one
looked at
from
it
the
to run it.
90s. There was one from the 90s, and I remember one of my old GM, he had it, and we never played it. I think he ran it once or twice for a group before I was involved. So we're going. This is like early. This is before '93, and he's like, "Yeah, it takes ages to make a character, and a xenomorph just kills a player like that. There's no fucking challenge in it or anything."
Yeah.
So I just wondered. I just wondered if anyone ever played it. But other than that, I think that's it. Unless anyone else has got anything else they want to add.
I just thought the one bit we didn't really get into was character creation, because this particular scenario has all the characters pre-created.
Yeah.
But they said I have created characters for it, and it's pretty quick.
Yep.
I assume it's because Mutant Year Zero is quite quick, isn't it? I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just X points in your attributes, X points in skills, and then pick a trait, and you're pretty much done.
Same thing with aliens. Pick a talent. Yep.
Do you have to do relationships as well?
You can.
Is that a step? Is that a step in the game? Like you need to choose a buddy and a rival.
Yeah, it is. In character creation, it is.
Yeah, because they have that in all of them. So I think Tales from the Loop has it. And
It helps create tension. It's great. It's where great roleplay. It's where the role playing comes from. It's where drama comes from. It's great.
All right, cool. Well, if that's it, then we can call it there. We can call it.
All right.
We can call a bookend to Alien.
Okay.
For now, maybe when, like I said, when that other game comes out or the next part, maybe we can have a look at it then.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, thank you. So thank you for doing it. I know it was a bit ropey, but we'll get used to it as we go along, as we do it more and more, or as I do. I don't know if you could tell, I'm not very good at interviews. It's not a skill I've ever had to hone beforehand. Sue, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Chambers of Roleplay Discord, on Twitter and Blogspot as Savage Spiel, and on YouTube as Sue Savage.
Nathan?
Yeah, you can find me at Godless Polecat on Twitter and at Godless Polecat in the Chambers of Roleplay Discord. Bar that, my YouTube account is, I don't really post anything to it, so
I
I think there's a Shadowrun I on my YouTube channel. I have one Shadowrun one shot that I ran that's on there, but yeah.
That's me. Don't forget, Discord information is in all the descriptions below. You can join us. You can join the Discord from there. Twitter, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/JamesCorpTV. My Facebook page is on there. If you use Facebook over Twitter, you might do, you might not, but you can follow the information there, and then check out the YouTube channel at youtube.com/JamesCorp, all one word. And if you're feeling particularly spicy, you can support me on Patreon over at patreon.com/JamesCorp. Or if you're watching this on Twitch and want to support the channel, you can hit that subscribe button, and it does really help as well. And even just coming by and watching the live stream really does help as well. But other than that, I'd like to thank everyone who hung out and watched and provided some questions for Ian to answer earlier in the interview. I'd like to thank everyone who hung out today in chat for the review section. I know it was brief, but I don't want it going on for fucking ages. It was going to be probably 2 hours with everyone, I reckon, maybe even an hour and a half. But thank you all. Thank you, Sue and Nathan, for playing and hanging out today. It has been great, and we will see everyone next week for Liminal Session 1, which will be character creation, and I think we'll be going through I'll be asking Sue, like, things we should think about is like how best to make a decent group of, are they called investigators? Is that the term you call it? Cabal?
I'm not sure if there is an official term.
All right. Scampi fry eaters is what we're going to call them, because that's the
that's
official.
it.
That's the official.
Yeah, the official
snack.
liminal snack. Yeah.
We'll figure liminals. There we go. Or crew. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, we'll go. We're gonna go through character creation step by step, and then we'll end that. Maybe get everyone to the same point, and then next week or the week after we'll start. We'll start liminal. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Don't forget, you can support me on Patreon over at patreon.com/JamesCorp, and also get your name here in the credits. I'd like to thank Eris, Weefs, Orcus Dorcas, Matt, Mike, Ludovic, Adrian, Bud, Giuseppe, and Jaywall for your continued support on Patreon. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please consider supporting James Corp on Patreon.